Shlump.
Hello everybody, it's Shlump here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to set up GZDoom on your Steam Deck. It's a source port for Doom, the game that I made my last video on, but it was a specific version of Doom, the 2020 re-release, that I think should be good enough for most people as a way to play Doom nowadays. It's an old game from 1993, so there are different ways to play it, but this is the most modern version of it. But if you're really someone who's really into Doom, and you want to get the most out of it, and you want to mod it and customize it to your exact liking and tweak it in every single way possible, and also just play any level that you find off the internet, because there are many levels, mods, right, on the internet, but you can't really play them with this version. You're going to need a source port. So GZDoom was one I recommend in my last video, and that's why I'm going to be recommending this video as well, of course, because it's the most modern, it has the most features. A lot of levels being designed nowadays are made with GZDoom in mind. So to get it, open up the Discover application, click Applications, and type in its name, GZDoom. Now I already have it installed, but click the install button here. And then it doesn't just play the original Doom games, it also plays other games made with the same engine that the old Doom games use. So most 90s shooters use this engine. So if you click launch here, you're going to notice it's giving you an error message and it's saying, cannot find the game iWAD. If you don't know, iWAD, or just WAD, is the old file system that these games used. So anywhere you have Doom on your Steam Deck, whether you have this version or not, but I just have this version, so I'm going to go to Manage, and then Browse Local Files, Base, and then Doom WAD. This is the file you want. And you're going to take this file, copy it, and put it wherever you want to. So let's just pretend I put it here, and then put it in the spot where you want all your Doom files to be in. So this is my actual Doom file, and the reason I have it pinned here is because, as I showed earlier, you can't just open the application shortcut GZDoom. It's going to give you this. So you're going to need a folder to have all your stuff in, and then you're going to have to click on these. Now the first time you're going to have to click Open With, and then Games, and then GZDoom, and click OK. And then after that, you should be able to just click on it, right? So once you click on it, it's going to ask you, do you want to play Doom 1 or Doom 2? Because levels are designed with either Doom 1 or Doom 2 in mind. If you don't know which Doom game it was designed for, just assume Doom 2, because the majority of them are designed for Doom 2, but some of them might be of Doom 1. So this is original Doom 1 right here, just for the first Doom game. So I'm going to click Doom, and that's going to launch it. That's going to be how you're going to have to open games with GZDoom.
Alright, now you're going to be hearing me as a voiceover, and I'm going to be taking you through all the different settings in GZDoom that you might want to look at and just explain what they do, some that you might want to change. This right here is just your basic weapon or key bindings that every video game has. Don't think I need to explain what that is. You just change the controls how you like. This is the mouse area. You're going to want to turn smooth mouse movement off, as that enables raw input, so make sure that's off. You want raw input so you can aim more precisely. Always mouse look turn on. That is what I believe allows you to look up and down in the source port of Doom, which you can't do in the original Doom, but you can look up and down, which makes it feel more modern, which makes it more fun. Controller options. Controller options don't really seem to work in GZDoom, because whenever I connect any kind of controller to this, all it does is, for some reason, the camera just looks straight up, and I can't make it look anywhere else. It just looks up, and it doesn't want to work properly. And this isn't just on the Steam Deck, by the way. This is for everywhere I've tried GZDoom. It just doesn't seem to work. So that's why I only play GZDoom when I'm using mouse and keyboard. When I want to play with a controller, or I want to just play on the actual Steam Deck, I use the Steam version, which is much better designed for controller. GZDoom, I believe, has some sort of multiplayer functionality to it, so you can customize how your character looks. I just keep it the same, original, stock, default, whatever you want to call it. Gameplay options. Here you can change the stuff besides smart auto aim right here, which actually turn off, because in original Doom you obviously, like I said, couldn't look up or down. So the way you aimed at an enemy that was on stairs and you're at the bottom of the stairs is, if you just have your the middle of the screen, you have your reticle on them, then that's gonna target them even if they're above you. Same thing goes for enemies if they're below you. So as long as you're I guess on the horizontal axis of where those enemies are, it's going to shoot them. But here, you want to turn that off, because you'll have the ability to look up and down, so you won't need that kind of auto aiming for you. And then you can configure it more, allow auto aim, and it also allows some other features that GZDoom has, like crouch and jumping, which isn't in the original Doom, and also free look as well, FOV, all that stuff you can customize. And not every, I think most levels they download off the internet probably won't allow you to jump and crouch. So I wouldn't really get too used on using those because they're probably only going to work in just Doom 1 and Doom 2 because most levels disable them. Auto map right here. You can customize the auto map here. It's just like the map they look at. I'm going to show you here in a second. Yeah, there we go. So I have it like it's transparent. So as I'm walking around, I can look at the game world and the map at the same time. So it's just easier to tell and navigate because if you've seen the original Doom map, it's super basic. It's just black with like red and yellow lines. It's pretty hard to tell what is what. So this is really neat. And then also when there's like doors that need a certain color key card, those display the corresponding color on the map. So that's really useful and you can customize a whole bunch of stuff here the way you want. And then next is HUD where you get the crosshair reticle. It's not in the original Doom. It's in the Steam version of it that I showed in my last video. But here you can customize it a lot more. And so I just have a yellow one, standard like cross thing. Pretty basic, but you can customize there to whatever you want it to be. There's a whole lot of options there. Show IWAD selection dialog, you're going to want to make that on. That's going to allow you to choose whether you want to use the level that you're playing with Doom 1 or Doom 2 like I showed earlier when I was showing how to open GZDoom. So make sure that is on. And then everything else in here, probably don't worry about. One quirk about GZDoom though is that it has autosaves, so that when you die in a level, it just takes you back to the first autosave, which is going to be at the beginning level. If you play a level before that, then you're still going to have your inventory. That's not really accurate to how the original Doom was. When you die in original Doom, you lose all your things and you just start the level at the beginning. What I just showed right there was just, don't even worry about that. Sound options, you're going to notice that the sound might sound a little different from here than the original Doom on Steam, because it uses a different kind of like sound font configuration. And for some reason, a quirk with like downloading games and applications from the Discover Store like we did for GZDoom on the Steam Deck is that it doesn't allow you to change some of the files that you might otherwise be able to mess with if you're playing on like Windows or something. So you can't actually change the sound font here, at least I haven't found a way to do it, because when I go to that file location that's pointing to there on the screen, it doesn't let me change it to the one I want it to have. So it still sounds pretty good, but I wish it could sound better, but unfortunately it doesn't let you change that here on the Steam Deck. So that is unfortunate, but most people probably won't notice anyways. But in my opinion, I do think like the Steam release has the better sound. Display options, we're playing at 1080p here, and you can change a whole bunch of stuff here. There's FOV right there, brightness, contrast, saturation, colors, and stuff. The way like sprite effects look, and then all this stuff here, and the hardware rendering options. You can customize this, really all just preference. These are like post-processing effects. Actually like graphical effects I turned on because I want it to look pretty much like the original Doom, just more modern, so, you know, like widescreen, all that stuff like that, and reticle. But in terms of like graphics, I don't really want anything more than that, so I just have those off. If you have those on, it should still run extremely well though, so don't worry about that. Vulkan options, don't mess with this unless you know what you're doing. It says high dynamic range HDR there. I don't really care for that, but it looks like you can change it if you want to. Texture options, alright, so texture filter mode. Right here it's set to non-linear, but by default the game's gonna have it to this, I believe, right here. And as you can see, it's super blurry, and I don't like this. It like smooths out all the pixels. I don't like this look. It doesn't look that bad on YouTube, but when you're actually playing it on the Steam Deck screen or just on the monitor or whatever, I think it looks really bad. Look at these enemies. Like they're just, you know, blobs of soup at this point. You know, they're just so fuzzy and out of focus. I don't like the look. I like the raw sprite look that, you know, Doom has, because I like to appreciate the sprites and the artwork. I think it's really beautiful. The game doesn't have to have good graphics to be beautiful, but it makes you really appreciate all the work that made into all the artwork into this game, making everything look unique and beautiful, even with these low graphics. So as you can see here, when we have it set to non-trilinear without that blur effect, this is the way the game, in my opinion, is supposed to look. I think this is the right way to play it, honestly. I think it looks so much better. Everything's sharp and in focus. So you can choose the blob version if you like, but I'm just letting you know that this is an option as well if you don't like the default look, like I don't. So yeah, it's super sharp. And then the next thing I'm going to show you that you'll want to change from default is anti-sotropic, however you say that, filter. What that does is it's off right now. So look at that hallway down there, or actually just out here. See all the way at the end how the ground right next to me where I'm looking at is clear, but as you go into the distance it becomes blurry, like soup, like we were talking about before. So what the anti-whatever filter thing does is set that to 16 times, And then you might not be able to tell with the YouTube compression and everything. I'll upload this in 4K if that helps. But you can see way in the distance there, the ground should be much clearer than what it was when that was set to off. And even just here looking on the ground around here at the end of that hallway there, and it's just much better. Very easy effect to make the game look simpler. It's something that the original release on Steam that I showed in my last video doesn't have, I don't think. You can see it here as well. Just in the ground on distance there, looks much better. So that's just personal preference, but I think it's better. Very basic, but I think it helps improve the game significantly. So just have that on doesn't really have a performance impact. In newer games it will, but this is such an old game that you can pretty much do anything you want, and it should run good. As long as you don't install the ray tracing mod. I saw that came out for this. Don't do ray tracing on here, not gonna happen. But other than that, you should be good. Like all this stuff you can turn on if you want to, but I turn off dynamic light stuff. Just not my personal preference. VSync here, it can be kind of messy. I made a video talking about how VSync works on a desktop mode on the Steam Deck, and you have to go in like the compositor, which I showed in the video, and it's kind of weird. And depending on what monitor you're using and how your Steam Deck is set up, you might want to have a different setting. So depending on how you have the VSync set up in there, you might want to have VSync on or VSync off, because right now I have it off, and that's actually not giving me screen tearing. But if I have it on here, it is giving me screen tearing, just in GZDoom. I don't know why. Other games I just have it on and it works. But for here, you might have to turn off to make screen tearing go off and VSync on. It's weird, but just try it, see what happens. So that was all the key settings I think you should know about. And here I'm just going to show you how crouching and jumping works in GZDoom. So here you can see I'm just crouching everywhere, and it looks kind of funny, looks kind of cursed, I think. But you may like it. It's not really useful. I mean, I guess you'd maybe like dodge under shots or something like that if you want to be like an MLG gamer for Doom or something. But it's mostly just kind of a gimmick, really. Not really that useful, I don't think. I don't think many people are going to be using it. Here is jumping. In the original Doom, you wouldn't be able to get up here, but now you can get up there. Though, however, most times you think you'll be able to jump over something, you actually won't be able to, because there's invisible walls and stuff like that, because the original game was not designed to have jumping in mind. So cases where jumping is actually going to prove useful is pretty rare. So that's why it's also, I think it's pretty much just a gimmick, just something to mess around with. More so in the just Doom 1 and Doom 2, because a lot of level packs they download off the internet disable crouching and jumping entirely. So it's really not that useful at all. And so now, after all the settings are done, I'm done showing off the things about GZDoom. Just gonna show off some gameplay here. In my last video, I did this level to show off how that version of Doom worked, because it's like one of the most demanding levels I know. I forgot to have the FPS counter on, but don't worry, the FPS here is super smooth. 60 never drops. You can probably set to like way higher if you have a higher refresh rate monitor. I just have 60, so 60 is good for me, and 60 is probably good for most people. It's probably what you're going to be aiming for at games if you get a Steam Deck, because the Steam Deck is not going to be able to run most games above 60. So if you have a Steam Deck, you probably are happy with 60 FPS. But here it is super smooth the entire time, even at the end where it gets super intense, which is why I included this level to demonstrate both versions of Doom, specifically with the first one, because this was the most main level that I knew in the first one. So make sure you watch the end to see that. But yeah, the FPS here is just 60, and it's awesome. You may notice the aiming with like the camera may look a tiny bit janky, because I was using a Bluetooth mouse and keyboard for this, so it's not the smoothest, but I made it work. I'm surprised I actually did as good as I did here. I thought it'd be harder, but I actually made it all the way to the end, so that was pretty nice surprise. One thing that I do struggle with in GZDoom, that was like weapon switching, because I'm used to just using like the shoulder buttons of the bumpers on a controller when I'm playing like the Steam version of it. But here, like I said earlier in the video, controller support doesn't really work on here, so I have to use mouse and keyboard. And sometimes using the mouse wheel up and down is it's the most logical way to do it, I think, but it can be kind of finicky to get the right one you want, because you have to like move the mouse wheel exactly the amount of clicks you want. And so you can also use the number buttons at the top of the keyboard. Well, that's also kind of hard. So I was kind of learning how to do the weapon switching here, so I messed up a few times, but it still ended up working out good enough. Other times I was just kind of messing around with it. So that wasn't really a problem, especially at the end where I was concerned that it would be. And then when I ran through this level in my last Doom video on the Steam version of it, I got to the end level, except I didn't think that'd be the end of the level, because I thought it ended kind of randomly. Like, I didn't think that was where it was supposed to end. I thought it went on for longer, that there's more level to it. And I was right, because when I played level in GZDoom here, it actually let me play the full level. For some reason, when I played this on the Steam version, the official Doom re-release, it kind of like cut the level off and ended it randomly and sent me to what felt like a random level that I wasn't supposed to send me to. So I don't know if that was a one-time glitch, because I've definitely played this level before a lot of times on Steam, just not recently, so I don't remember exactly how it ended. But it's supposed to send you to level 25 because this is level 24, but I think it sent me to somewhere else. So here it actually sent me to end of level. I didn't show all the way the end of level because it does kind of end with just walking, so I didn't really think you need to see me walking around in Doom. But I just ended up right where I stopped killing all the enemies in the level. Just kind of weird that here lets you play the whole level, but for some reason on the official Steam version, where they officially added the add-on to it, it kind of glitched out. I don't think I normally have. I think it might have happened because I selected that level without playing any levels before it. I think, maybe if I'd played level 23 and then 24, and then went on to being this level to the next level, would have worked correctly. But because I started at just level 24, maybe that caused a problem to me. I don't know, just kind of a quirk that I spotted out. So that's really going to be the end of the video. That's how you set up GZDoom on the Steam Deck. This is what the gameplay looks like. I hope you enjoyed this video. If it taught you anything, if you found it entertaining, useful, informative, helpful, like the video. And I'm going to be a YouTuber here and do a YouTuber thing and tell you that most of you watching this video are not subscribed. So make sure you definitely subscribe so you can see all my upcoming Steam Deck videos, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified straight away when I upload them. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of the video. There's still a lot of it left, and I'll see you in the next Steam Deck video.